Everybody's pissing and moaning. We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech progressed. We had a video coordinator named Rocky. He finishes his speech and he goes, "Hit it, Rock." And Set It Off by Boosie Badass played. As a young white man, it was my first time hearing that song, Set It Off. Yeah, we finna set it off. You heard me? I'm finna put you in the trash bag. Tired of all these knowing me right now, for real. You wanna talk shit? You wanna run your mouth? You want some gangster strut your motherfucking house? We'll set this job. Yeah. And that was my first time hearing Set It Off. At Sanford University, it was the third or fourth week of camp. We were about where teams are right now. Right before the season, everybody's pissing and moaning. We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech progressed. We had a video coordinator named Rock. Here we go. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, listen. We got a good one today. It's going to be another short one. My ass keep coming late, you know what I mean? But it's all gravy, cheddar. You know, I tried to change the song on the sound pad, didn't have enough time. I went live. I said, look, God wants me to play that brown paper bag today. So here we are, baby. We got the Thanksgiving games tomorrow. It is not a normal wacky Wednesday where we have nothing to talk about. We got hella to talk about because we got 3 football games happening tomorrow. You got Cowboys, Chiefs, you got Packers, Lions, and then you got my Bengals squaring off against the Ravens. And guys, I'm in the jar about it, but I'm back on being hopeful for this Cincinnati Bengals season. The path to the playoffs is clearer this year for the Bengals than it was last year, and they almost did it. They didn't do it, but they almost did it. And the path this year is clearer than the path last year for the Bengals. I'm ready to get hurt again, guys. I'm ready. I'm putting all my I'm not gonna blow my load. You guys are gonna have to listen in for the picks, and we'll let those unfold as we go. I don't even have my sports book pulled up right now. Should probably do that. You guys think? So we'll talk about all these games. Look, man, you got a 1 p.m. kickoff this Thanksgiving. That's different than the traditional noon time. 30 minutes later than usual. Start off with Green Bay and Detroit, go into Kansas City and Dallas. And then is Cincinnati and Baltimore the last game of our Thanksgiving? Let's take a look. Yep, you got Bengals-Ravens rounding out the day. The Bengals hopeful go to bed with a little heartbreak. Let's take a look at our sports book here. Guys, I've been late all week, and today I was like, fucking, I'm late. I'm just gonna go live. Let's pull up appreciate everybody's patience. We got the spreads pulled up. We are good to go. Because I promised you guys betting picks in the title, and I'm going to give them to you. This is not financial advice. Don't come back to the chat if one of my shits flop. saying, oh, you cost me money. Take your own risk. And then you got Black Friday game, too. You got the Bears versus the Eagles. That should be a fun one. I think the Eagles win that one. That's 3 p.m. Amazon Prime. Roger Goodell reasoning for the 1 p.m. start as opposed to the noon start. Align with traditional kickoff windows. Interesting. You got the Lions on some sort of redemption story right now. They're 7-4, second most points in the NFL. They got an elite scoring offense in Detroit. MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell, in the third or fourth week, I can't remember which one it is, of calling plays. 7-4 with a chance to win the NFC North and compete for a Super Bowl. Everyone thinks that their O-line is bad. Actually, it's pretty fine. I think them lighting up the scoreboard proves that. They made a great pick in Tate Ratledge. I believe he's the left guard. I could be wrong. Tate Ratledge out of Georgia, the rookie, made significant contributions on the front five offensively for the Detroit Lions. A guy that my Bengals passed on. And I'm not going to get over that shit anytime soon, considering we drafted 2-tackle Shamar Stewart. You could have at least drafted Jihad Campbell out of Alabama, guys. You could have at least done that. But the Bengals, according to inside sources on Twitter, have only attended, they've only been seen, the scouting department of the Bengals has only been seen at 2 college football games this year doing scouting. What do these guys do? Do they work? Do they sit at home all day? What do these Cincinnati Bengals scouts do? Because if you've got the smallest scouting department in the league, wouldn't you have to work the hardest? Wouldn't you have to be at the most college football games sniffing out talent if you're a scout for the Cincinnati Bengals? Apparently not. Insiders only seen him at 2 different college football games this season. And it shows. Guys like Tate Ratledge, you pass on him. Guys like Jihad Campbell, you pass on him. And they're both having great rookie seasons, while Shamar Stewart has less tackles than star receiver Jamar Chase. Shout out to, these usernames are so hard to read. This one's not. Liliana Gonzalez, shout out to her. She's in the chat. Yoon Che is MG Bias says hello. Yeet Squad 8920 says hello. Hello to you guys. So we got the Detroit Lions starting the day off in Detroit against the Packers. Let's see. I got lost on my outline here. For 10 years before Dan Campbell, Lions fans' Thanksgiving tradition was watching them lose. We saw Joe Burrow remark upon this in his presser yesterday. They asked him what comes to mind when you're thinking about Thanksgiving football, and he talked about Matt Stafford going for 400 yards to Calvin Johnson and the Lions still finding a way to lose. Listen, that sounds a lot like our team right now. That sounds a lot like the Bengals right now. And I don't know if Joe Burrow was taking a subtle jab or if he was serendipitously reminiscing and inadvertently compared the Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Detroit Lions to today's Bengals. He might have done that accidentally. He's a smart enough guy, though. That might be a purposeful jab at the organization, which I don't mind based on how they've operated. So Colts have the most points in the NFL. Colts are the number 1 offense in the NFL in that category. Lions are the second. Both teams elite on offense. Their win versus the Giants wasn't pretty, but it's the NFL. You find a way to win. I've said this numerous times. I'd rather my team win ugly than lose pretty. Teams like the Lions find a way to win ugly. Teams like the Broncos find a way to win ugly. Teams like the Bengals find a way to lose pretty. Lose purdy. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 of top 5 fastest speeds reached this season. 22.3 miles per hour is top. Gibbs is at 22.23 a couple of separate times. MCDC, his presence has changed Thanksgiving narrative from heartbreak to hope in minimal time. Lions don't need 100 rushing yards every week. They're doing everything right. They're playing well in all phases, and I think they should really be 8-3. They should have gotten the win against the Philadelphia Eagles, but they catch a bullshit PI call on Rock Ya-Sin to end the game against Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. And they struggled against New York. Look, Jameis Winston is a baller, always has been a baller. And the New York Giants played their best offensive game. That game, Giants-Lions, was probably the most robust offensive game I've seen in the NFL all season. So let's take a look at hot takes surrounding the Lions. We're going to focus on each team playing here tomorrow, if you didn't catch on to that. If you told a Lions fan 10 years ago they'd be 7-4 on Thanksgiving with playoff hopes, they'd cry. Now they're worried about looking great. That's growth. That's not really a hot take. That's just more of a statement. Sometimes this AI, I use AI to create outlines for my show every day, and it'll create hot takes and tangents. If you guys are new to the show, you don't know this. If you're not new to the show or you're a fan of the show, you know this already. The AI creates hot takes for me. Some of them are great. Some of them create 20-minute tangents. Some of them are so retarded that I literally have to condemn the take to hell. And then sometimes it's just a statement like this. Doesn't really help us much get down the road. Gibbs runs so fast, he's breaking NFL speed records. How is he not in every conversation for MVP? Well, number one, there is a running back in the league playing better than him, unbelievably, and it's Jonathan Taylor. They slowed him down a bit last week in Kansas City, but nonetheless, if there's a running back that should be in front place for MVP, it's Jonathan Taylor. And we already know that the MVP award is a quarterback award. I've said this numerous times on the show. The NFL should create a separate award with equal status to the MVP award that's quarterback of the year or something like that, and take the quarterbacks out of contention for the MVP race. I think that would fix a lot of things. You'd be able to get more recognition at other positions, running back, linebacker, important positions, DB. Hell, if we saw an Aaron Donald win MVP one year, I think that would make a lot of sense. An Aaron Donald type player, obviously. He's retired. But you guys get what I'm talking about? Like, there's definitely been dominant nose tackles, 3 techniques like Aaron Donald that have deserved an MVP one year or another. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it's a quarterback year in, year out. It's a Mahomes. It's a Josh Allen. It's a Lamar Jackson. Hopefully, we can make it Joe Burrow. We could get his ass to the playoffs. Or he could get our ass to the playoffs. Really, that's how that goes. Joe Burrow's the MVP of last season if Cincinnati squeaks into the playoffs. But unfortunately, we have a dysfunctional organization. The narrative is Lions stink, but they're scoring the second most points. Narrative does not equal reality. I haven't heard many Lions stink takes, but obviously they're not playing the same way that they played last year, at least if you look at their record. Right. So maybe people are expecting too much from these Dan Campbell-led Lions. I haven't heard many takes saying the Lions stink. Okay. MCDC didn't change the roster overnight. He changed the mindset. That's redemption. Yeah. Okay. Of course. He changed the culture. That's what we talked about here on this show. Football's more mental and spiritual, unbelievably, than it is physical. Can we skip saying the Lions offense stinks when they're literally number 2 in scoring? I don't know who is saying that. Okay. And they're playing the Green Bay Packers. Let's jump down to the spot where we talk about the Packers, if there is one. I'm not sure if there is one. If there isn't, then we're just going to go straight to our betting pick for that game because I promised that in the title. So let's take a look at the spread. There's nothing here on the Packers. The Packers are the Packers. They got a great defense. Their offense is questionable. Jordan Love, I'm still not completely sold on that guy. Detroit Lions enter as 2.5-point favorites. Over-under is 48.5. You can get $1.30 if you take the Green Bay Packers money line. That'll be a fun game because you got the Lions offense humming the way they are. You got the Packers defense playing pretty good football. And so really I think where the money's going to be made in this game is how many plays can Detroit's defense make? I know they've had trouble with injuries in their secondary. How many guys back do they have healthy? I haven't looked at an injury report from the Detroit Lions for a hot minute. I'm going to go ahead and be an NPC and say Detroit covers that 2.5-point spread. I think Detroit wins by one possession. Hopefully I'm right there because I don't want to see some kind of blowout. I do think Detroit's better right now than Green Bay. They're just more well-rounded. Green Bay's a one-sided team. They're the opposite of the Bengals. They got a great defense, but their offense really hasn't been able to do jack. And the Lions' defense has been pretty functional. They played good football the last couple of weeks, other than last week. Their defense did not play good football. But Jameis Winston, guys, we got to give Jabu Carr a little bit. Jabu wins a little bit of credit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Jack Carroll. All right, let's get on down the road here. Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. That's the next game. Kansas City and Dallas. Chiefs just demolished the Colts. They had a great comeback. Best offense versus one of the best defenses in Kansas City. Mahomes got back. Rashee Rice was shut down. I think he only had like 3 catches for 9 yards in the first half against the Colts. And then he comes alive with 3, I think, huge catches in the second half. He's got Rashee Rice. He's got Xavier Worthy. He's got Kareem Hunt. They're all healthy. They ran it 41 times for almost 150 yards. That's that playoff mentality, grind it out type of deal that they were bringing about in that second half against Indy in a roaring comeback. Mahomes throwing quick crosses all game. This is what Andy Reid likes to do. They like to get quick balls out on slant patterns, crosser patterns. This is the Chiefs' bread and butter. They're missing an offensive lineman or two. Mahomes has become more mobile this year, sneaky athletic, becoming overly athletic. I haven't really watched much of the Chiefs this year. Mahomes caught getting hit frequently, now delivering hits instead of taking them. Look, the Chiefs is the Chiefs. I fully expect the Chiefs to make the playoffs. I fully expect the Chiefs to beat the Cowboys tomorrow. Where is this game? It's in Dallas. I fully expect the Chiefs to win this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. That's it. I would think they'd be like 5.5. But you never know. It's Thanksgiving. The Cowboys have a little bit of demon in them. They got a little bit of something about them. I think George Pickens has lit a fire in this Dallas Cowboys program here. Running game opened up. God damn, man. You guys, I don't know what it is today. I'm feeling a little just fatigued. I finally knocked out all my sleep debt. I should be feeling good on paper. Got a nice workout in this morning. Got the cold plunge. Got to get, you get all the stuff done, right? But some days just feel a little weird. Today's one of those days. It is Wacky Wednesday, you guys. So bear with me here. We're going to get you guys some picks. We're going to get you guys some best bets. We've already given you Lions -2.5 against Green Bay. Look, I haven't watched much of the Chiefs or the Cowboys at all. I'm reading my outline here, and I'm just realizing that I'm not really engaged with what I'm saying because I'm just reading from an outline. So we're going to keep it real. I think based on what I've seen, I've watched a little Chiefs football. I haven't watched that much Dallas Cowboy football at all. Based on what I've seen, the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. They've had their struggles. But when you're led by Andy Reid, when you're led by ownership like the Hunt family, functional, competent organizations like the Kansas City Chiefs, I wish I still had a right or reason to hate on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals-Chiefs rivalry, those 2 or 3 years when we were meeting in the AFC Championship, were some of the most fun football years I've ever had as a fan, point blank period, set aside the Bengals Super Bowl appearance. I've loved hating on the Chiefs, and I feel like the Bengals and the Chiefs are not even in the same discussion anymore right now after last year and this year. But again, man, I am back on the hope train for the Cincinnati Bengals. The media pundits, they've carved out a clear path for the Bengals to make the playoffs. They need way less they need way less to happen this year than they did last year. And last year, the Bengals ran a table the last 5 games, rattle off 5 in a row to end up going 9-8. So can they rattle off 6 this year? Can they make it one more game that they win out as opposed to last year? That involves beating Baltimore 2 times. Those will be the biggest games on the schedule remaining. Obviously, you got to go to Buffalo and win that. And then you got a couple sleeper games to end the year. Miami, Arizona, and Cleveland, all in that order. I wish that they were playing Arizona here, by the way. Look, here's the thing with me and the Bengals. They piss me off, but at the end of the day, I'm still shut up and take my money, bitch. That's just kind of the way it goes. So I miss being able to hate on the Chiefs. All I can say about the Chiefs right now is that they're still the Chiefs. They're a well-run organization. They're going to find a way to win games that they should and need to win. Look at last week against Indy, roaring comeback against the best offense in the league. They shut their ass down. Steve Spagnuolo, still one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I wish I could talk smack, but I cannot. I can't. Because they're in a different spot than me and my Bengals right now. Now, they might not be in a different spot in 6 weeks. We will see how Joe Burrow chooses to come back. We know that this guy's a psycho, that he's going to come back as a demon, and he's probably going to elevate the play of not just the guys around him on offense, but probably the guys on defense. They just activated Dijon Anthony, the Ole Miss Rebel, who's been on IR for a long-ass time. So we can replace one of these guys at safety. You know what I mean? Give somebody new a try. Get some new blood in the building here or on the field, right? So I'm going to take the Chiefs on the points, 3.5 points against Dallas. If it ends up being a 3-point game, that sucks. Dallas is playing well. I hope to God that Dallas finds a way to win this game. Just as a hater, it'd be a great hate watch to watch the Chiefs lose to the Cowboys in Dallas, but I just don't think that that's going to happen. And this is a hot take. It's not really a hot take. I think this is pretty obvious. The Chiefs are saving their best ball until the playoffs, until late in the year, because that's what functional organizations do. And the Dallas Cowboys, they pretty much, the narrative with the Chiefs and the Cowboys is that both teams feel like this is a must-win game. It's NFL, so every game is a must-win game. But this game particularly, the Chiefs are in the same spot in the AFC playoff race right now that the Dallas Cowboys are in the NFC playoff race right now. So both of these teams need a win tomorrow to theoretically stay alive in the playoff race. Fear of falling behind. We will see. Things will continue to crystallize as we get farther along in the NFL season. But it's wide open everywhere around. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I think they're probably my favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. And I just don't see a franchise like Dallas. It's so easy to look at how Dallas has performed in the postseason over decades. Really, since I've been a young boy, Dallas always chokes in the playoffs, so it's much harder for me to ever envision them having actual success in the playoffs, especially when they still have Dak Prescott at quarterback. He's not a bad player. We've just never seen him succeed in the postseason. So it's hard for me to take Dallas serious as any kind of contender. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they straight up missed the playoffs here because I don't think they're going to win this game against Kansas City. I don't know what their schedule looks like coming down the pipe. But you're probably going to – who knows? Because the Cowboys just beat the Eagles. We can't really say, based on watching that game, that the Eagles are clear-cut NFC East favorites anymore, are they? Because you got – the Giants are done. I think the Giants are the only team in the league mathematically eliminated from the playoffs at this point. The Commanders, they're reeling. They're bringing Jaden Daniels back. So could they get some – are they a similar situation to the Bengals where they get a little bit of juice getting their guy back? You know, I'm not trying to compare Jaden Daniels to Joe Burrow. I think the discussion there on who's better is pretty obvious. Who's more franchise changing is pretty obvious, but maybe Commanders, they make a late run. I'm not sure what their record is. I'm pretty sure it's similar to Cincinnati's, though. Let's take a look here. Let's take a deeper look at the Cowboys. From the outline, Cowboys are 10 seed in the NFC. They're the same seed as the Chiefs in the AFC. Both need wins. The Cowboys are getting 69% of public bets on Thanksgiving. That's that America's team narrative, and that is all the more reason to take the Chiefs. Fading the public, if you guys didn't know, I'm not a bettor myself, but I definitely keep track of it, not only for the sake of this show, but just to see what public sentiment is looking like with certain teams and certain games. 69% of the public have bet the Cowboys to cover that spread, I would guess. So let's go with the Chiefs, -3.5. We're fading the public, and also the Chiefs are going to win this game, guys. I hope to God, the hater in me hopes to God I'm wrong. The hater in me wants to get out. It wants a little walking around money. It wants Joe Burrow to run the table, win the last 6 games, and win the AFC North at 9-8 so that we can sneak into the playoffs and maybe play the Chiefs in the division game. The hater in me wants to get out and get some walking around money with the Chiefs. I want to talk shit to the Chiefs again. I want to feel like I can do that as a Bengals fan. Okay, but they're not going to lose this game against Dallas. Dallas is Dallas. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. 3.5-point spread. Book it for Kansas City, especially with 69% of the public money on the Cowboys for whatever reason. People are running hot from that Eagles game, I'd imagine. George Pickens becoming, this is what my outline says, maybe the best wide receiver in football after his breakout. Dak Prescott playing elite right now. Defense transformed. They got my former Bengal, Logan Wilson, in the nucleus now. Defense transformed. Front four are dominant. They've dug themselves too deep of a hole to make playoffs even if they went out. Okay, so that contradicts a couple of things because earlier it said that they were the 10th seed in the NFC East. Interesting. Jerry Jones, problem-solved defense, midseason with aggressive trades. Here's some hot takes. Let's go on down to that. Dallas is the most talented 10 seed we've ever seen. They'll make the 7th seed. Playoff runs look stupid. What does that mean? Dallas is the most talented. No, they're not, dude. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for reacting that way? Dallas, the most talented 10 seed? Come on. If Cowboys had started their season like this, they're the 1 seed. Stop! Instead, they're fighting for their lives. That's a coaching and consistency problem. I don't like these takes are terrible. George Pickens went from nobody to top 5 receiver conversation. Is that Dak? Is that Ben? What? I don't know, man. George Pickens, you see a lot of edits on him lately. A lot of 6, 7 edits and shit. And, I kind of like him. I like a guy like George Pickens. You grab a face mask, talk a little smack, shove somebody after the play. It brings juice to your guys. Now, we got to make sure that George Pickens isn't getting penalty flags thrown on him in pivotal moments because he is that type of guy. You want to get like that first quarter unsportsmanlike conduct penalty out of the way, give the boys a little juice, but you're not destroying the team in a pivotal moment. That's what George Pickens has got to focus on today. When am I going to grab someone's face mask? What's an optimal time to do that where we don't harm our team too bad in terms of penalty yardage, but we also give the boys a little bit of juice? Some conversation about Colts, Texans. Texans apparently the number 1 defense in the league right now. Colts, the number 1 offense in the league. That game's going down on Sunday. So maybe we'll talk more about that. I'm figuring out whether we want to do a regular podcast tomorrow on Thanksgiving or whether we do a live reaction stream and call one of these games, try and call one of these games. I told you guys, if you watched yesterday, that I'm working on coding a score bug to put on the screen like a traditional broadcast. So I'm figuring out what direction we want to take things tomorrow. But I think we'll talk about the Sunday games, maybe on Friday, something like that. Dub Bears, shout out to Jacob. Yeah, we've talked ad nauseum about Joe Burrow's return. Guys, I love y'all to death. I'm just not feeling it today. I am feeling weird for whatever reason. I mean, we're human. This shit happens, you know what I'm saying? But we're still here. We're still rocking and rolling, slinging dick, whatever you want to call it. Let's read what this outline has to say about Joe Burrow's return. I am excited again, guys. I'm hopeful again. The media pundits have done it again. The Cincinnati Bengals operatives have done it again. I am ready to get hurt again. Even after descending to the darkest depths possible as a fan of this team this season and last. Let's read what the outline has to say. Joe Burrow back from toe injury, of course. Jamar Chase is also returning from a suspension. Bengals are 3-8, but they are in the shittiest division in football. All teams terrible. Bengals beat Ravens twice. Bengals are in the hunt. Joe Burrow on record wanting to be that guy on Thanksgiving. Grew up watching the Lions lose. We mentioned that earlier. Ravens are now first in AFC North at 6-5 after starting 1-5. Burrow plays well against the Ravens historically. We all knew that. We remember the games from last year, both of which Jamar and Joe played out of their gourds, but the Bengals still managed to find a way to lose both games. We couldn't make kicks down the stretch. That was a problem in the first one at home last year. Division game on Thanksgiving with 2 flawed teams. 3-8 seems out of it, but division is so weak that it's still playoff viable. Ravens have been winning despite looking suspect at times. Jamar Chase being back is huge. Bengals felt his impact all week last week. I would agree that offense just struggled to find their way other than on the ground. The Bengals had incredible success in the run game against New England last weekend. Chase Brown was over 100 yards rushing. Joe Burrow finally gets his Thanksgiving moment. His childhood dream meets... I mean, what kind of hot take is that? The AFC North is so bad that 3-8, 6-5 are both in playoff contention. Is this the worst division in NFL history? Oh, man, that's tough for me. I'm an AFC North supremacist, guys. But it is pretty bad right now. It's pretty bad. I think the AFC North's been ravaged by injuries, number one. Number two, you got one team in AFC North that is a perennial non-contender in Cleveland. Cincinnati is erring on that territory, looking at missing the playoffs for 3 years straight. I can't get this big, beautiful vision out of my head where Burrow comes back tomorrow, runs the table, the last 6 games for the Bengals in exhilarating fashion. The Bengals sneak into the playoffs at 9-8. They find their stride. They find their groove. The defense finally starts freaking tackling somebody. And it becomes the greatest story in the history of football. I cannot lie to you guys. I thought about that 3 separate times today before noon. But AFC North, it probably is. I mean, you think, okay, let's think about the worst divisions. You think about NFC South, Tampa, slumping, Atlanta, bad, New Orleans, bad, Carolina, not bad, not contenders, but not bad. NFC West is really good. NFC North is okay. NFC East is okay. AFC South, 2 teams in there is not bad. You know, you got the Colts, they're great. You got the Texans who are coming on strong. Jags, not good. Tennessee, not good. AFC West, it's pretty good. And the AFC North, yeah, they're up there. The AFC North's up there, the worst division. NFC South, though, is pretty bad, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, AFC North, shittiest division in football right now. I hate that. It should be one. It should be the best. Should be the best division in football. But Pittsburgh, unreliable. Baltimore, unreliable. Cincinnati, more than unreliable. But that is, ironically, to the benefit of the Bengals right now at 3-8, that we're even having a playoff conversation for them. Jamar Chase coming back after suspension could be emotional lift or chemistry disruptor. That is the most ridiculous, stupid, damn you to hell take I've ever heard. Of course Jamar Chase is going to help. When would he ever disrupt the chemistry of this offense? Just ridiculous. That's what I'm talking. Some of these takes need to be condemned, need to be canceled. Burrow's playing on a bum toe against the Ravens defense is not elite. My outline's incorrect calling the Ravens defense an elite defense. That's either brave or stupid, probably both. If Bengals win Thursday, entire division gets reset. That's how close it is. So, needless to say, pretty excited about the game tomorrow just because there's a bit of change. Burrow's back, guys. And the Bengals, once again, have heisted my hope. They have duped me into believing again, even with the worst defense in NFL history, even at 3-8, we are in a division that is wide open. The AFC North being so bad hurts me, but it helps the Bengals here. And the Bengals round off Thanksgiving in the primetime window. When everybody's eating, when everybody's had their cranberry sauce, the leftovers are getting cold, mom puts them in the fridge, and we're watching the Baltimore Ravens kick off against the Cincinnati Bengals. It is in Baltimore. Oh, my gosh. It is in Baltimore. But being on the road didn't stop Jamar Chase from eating last year. Being on the road didn't stop Joe Burrow from eating. We will have both of them back, and I'm sure that it will make an enormous impact on this team. We watched this team fight pretty hard against New England on Sunday. Defense played the best game they've played all year, only giving up 19 points. And it sets the stage for us Bengals fans to potentially get our heart broken again. It would be much easier if we could just emotionally withdraw like I have for much of the season and just not watch and have no hope, because then you don't have any expectations to be fulfilled. But the Bengals do an incredible job of finding a way to pull you back in emotionally, week in, week out. I can't tell you how many peaks and valleys we've had spiritually, emotionally, mentally, following this Bengals team as a fan, not just this season, but last season. Season before that, Joe Burrow's wrist gets destroyed in Baltimore, and we missed the playoffs there as well. I don't fear Joe Burrow getting re-injured for some reason. My intuition's telling me that wouldn't happen. Probably more hopeful than not. But let's take a look at the odds here. Bengals are 7-point underdogs against Baltimore tomorrow. 7-point underdogs. The money line is 280 for Cincinnati. Am I being biased right now? Is it my fanhood that is making me think that is a preposterous line with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase back in against a Ravens team that is pretty unreliable defensively? Now the question is every week, is what's the Bengals defense going to come out with? How are they going to stop Lamar? I'm sure there's going to be many, many palm and face moments with this defense, but can they have less moments than usual and let Joe and Jamar shine? Give me that Bengals money line, dude. That value's too good. I cannot believe that it's a 7-point spread. I mean, I can, but with the storylines around it, how could you not just give that a little nibble? Give that shit. I might look. I'm not giving out advice on this show. I'm not giving out concrete financial advice on this show, but objectively, I feel like that's a good deal. Give me the Bengals money line. I know it's the most biased. Look, we're an unabashedly biased Cincinnati Bengals program. We're an unabashedly biased SEC program when you're talking college football. And we got an exciting week of college football coming up. I'm sure we'll cover that here in the next 2 days. But it is time for me to run, ladies and gents. I know I've showed up late the majority of the week, about 20, 30 minutes late. I run to jiu-jitsu around 5 p.m. local time here. And it is time. We're at about 42, 43 minutes. And I want to thank you guys for popping in today. No matter how long you popped in, we really appreciate you spending valuable moments of your life on this show here with us. We appreciate you to continue doing that. A lot of y'all watch the show, and maybe some of y'all think you're subscribed to the show, but you aren't. So make sure and check. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We got Madden streams on the channel. We got this daily podcast Monday through Friday. Any audio platform, big or small, you can find us on. That's updated daily. Finally went in there and updated it today. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Bare minimum, hit the like button for me there. And if you don't do either, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Yeah, so hopefully you guys got some value from those picks. To recap it, I'll bless anyone popping in late. Detroit minus 2.5. Kansas City minus 3.5. Cincinnati Bengals money line. That is not concrete financial advice. Make your own decisions. That's just what I think, guys. And just like that, we're going to send it off. We will see you guys tomorrow in some form or fashion, whether that's in the form of a podcast or a live reaction stream to one of these games, probably the Bengals game. we'll get it figured out. But we will see you guys tomorrow. Could see you on a Madden stream later. I know I always inspire hope. And lately I've been disappointing on the front of the Madden streams, but those are always good time. And got to make sure we are staying on top of those because those are fun and you guys love them. So anyways, I will send you guys off officially now. Subscribe to the channel because the algorithm wouldn't have brought you here if you didn't like football. And if you like football, you're going to love our show. You're going to love our channel. It's all we talk about. And we'll see ya. I never know how to send it off. I always feel awkward.